Now, apart from me talking about that this is a cooking program for 1 or 2, I'm also very obsessed by the leftovers. And anything that I've got, I just hang on to just for a couple of days, and then we start thinking about, like now I've got the perfect example here. I've got a whole lot of vegetables that I have left over. Now I've always got potatoes and onions in the house, and I always start any soups off with those. They're the thickening agents, and the onion gives a flavour. I've got half a leek, which I've just washed quite well. So let's just chop them up and throw them into a pot. So there's no big deal to this. You know, you don't have to saute them, you don't have to do anything fancy. I've also got some pumpkin, just a little bit left over. Some cauliflower left over, just some large florets. Got some carrot. And so just chop them up, and always chop them up reasonably evenly, because that will mean that they'll cook fairly evenly. I got a bit excited with my carrots. I bought a bag, but the bag was so cheap. What could I do? Then I have to use them, because as I said, this whole thing is not just about cooking for one, it's also no wastage, because we waste so much stuff. $10 billion we waste per year in the home. This is just the home. This is not in restaurants or in supermarkets. This is just in the home. So the potato goes in. They were not left over. As I said, I've always got potatoes in the house, and they add some body to any soup. So I always sort of have my base, which is potato and onion. That's a base to my soup, and then I add whatever I've got left. And I do lots of it. I do whatever I've got, because it is the perfect thing to put in your freezer. Right, let's just put some hot water in that. And what I've also got is some stock cubes. Now I'm just using veggie stock cubes. You can use chicken, obviously, or you could use stock powder, and just cover that with water, because I want a nice thick soup. And I've got a couple of secret little fancy pants Huey ideas to go with this. One of them, I'm doing a nice topping. I don't know what you'd call it, but I'll think about it. Just some grated cheese, just a tasty, not too much. And we then grab pastry, and I'll cut that in half, and that can go back into the freezer. And we're just going to cut a couple of rounds. You really only need 1, but I'm doing 2, just in case. Just in case I've got a friend. We'll put some cheese on top of that, and we're then going to bake that. Now, just put a mound in the centre. Don't take it right to the edges, because it'll spread out. Into the oven, and we're going to cook that, and that's going to go on top of our soup. All right, our veggies are nice and tender. Make sure that they really are, because otherwise you have a bit of trouble processing them. All right, smells good. All right, that's looking good. Let's just whip that off. Pour it into a bowl. Any container is fine. As I said, any vegetables, but I always do a base, and the base being potatoes and onions. And I've always got those in the house, so that's easy. Right, let's have another shot. Just out of interest now, this won't be the final taste, purely and simply because the veggie mix isn't perfect as yet. Some of the things have sunk to the bottom. Still tasting pretty good. Let's just whip this off. Now, the secret couple of ingredients. First of all, let's just check for seasoning. Certainly needs quite a bit of salt. You never know with stock cubes and the like, sometimes they can be very salty. Also could do with some pepper. And here are the couple of secret ingredients. This is not too secret. The cream, but it does add a nice body to it. But here comes something that is completely different. Good chunk or 2 of butter. Now that's optional, but it really does add body to a soup like this. Right, looking good. Now, just 1 if you like. Just like that. All right, bit of a fancy soup made with what I found in my fridge. And that's what you should do. Don't waste things, but do make something nice with them. I've seen people make soup and they just threw every bit of rubbish in their fridge into a pot and boiled it up. No stock, no nothing. No stock, no nothing. That's good English, isn't it? Well, my friends, this is going to be delicious. You'll enjoy this, but remember the base, remember the stock cube. Cheers.